to T-Boys TV. Obviously, we're back again with another Hat Show. Obviously, we're getting ever closer to episode 100. And from as far as I worked out, I had a little calculation of it earlier. I think the 100th episode will be Blackburn away, which obviously is the last away game. So it's pretty mad how things come about like that of the season. But yeah, obviously in today's, we'll get into the Rotherham game reaction and then obviously a Reading preview. But like always, I'm joined with my dad. How are we, Dad?
Yeah, well, good, mate. Excellent.
Good.
Hope everyone's well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Big up to everyone. Like I said, I see a few people waiting before we went live as well. So yeah, big up to yourselves for that. But obviously, like I said, so the first thing, as you can see, their stadium's in the background. Rotherham United. Now, obviously, we took them on at the weekend. Both confident of a win. You went with the famous classic 1-0. Obviously, what did I say? I can't even remember. I said 2-1. That was it. 2-1. Obviously, it ended up being 2-0. Lineup was interesting in certain ways, which obviously we'll get into. So, obviously, Ethan was in goal. Lockyer, Bradley, and Burke. So, it's good to see Bradley starting. Again, that's his first start since November. Obviously, he had that horrific injury against Reading. And I did have a feeling he'd probably maybe start. I did say that, due to the fact, we don't know about Potts still and obviously the Doherty injury against Blackpool. And then obviously Bell, Drame, obviously Bell back into left wing back. And then Ruddock, Nakamba, Campbell ahead. Flash scores and messed it up again. They say Campbell's out of a 4-3-3, the one up front. It's just mad. And then Woodrow and Morris. And then obviously for the bench, it was Berry, Freeman, Lansbury, Shea, Taylor, Thorpe, and Watson. No Elijah. Obviously that was something I did, see the first thing when I saw it. I guess based on, the stuff, then it's really what we want to go with. Like I said, I did have that feeling about Bradley and Woodrow, to be fair. I did say it on the vlog, as much as, he didn't necessarily score. He did come on and play well against Blackpool. Maybe even with Elijah being back or available, he might have even played ahead of him anyway, for me, potentially, because of the impact he made. And it's a quick turnaround. But overall, other than the Woodrow and Bradley to a certain extent, but then I did have that feeling. That's the lineup I went with. But your thoughts on that lineup, Dad?
Yeah, it looks like he was right about Doughty. And that changed there. Bell playing there, Bradley coming into it. Elijah, went on bounce, but he did look like he got a knock or whatever in the previous game, so it's not too surprising. I think more of it's to do with just being careful now. Do you know what I mean? And we've got the option to be careful as well. Whereas last season, we was bringing him on, over crutch and an eye patch and that, just to like try and do something against Huddersfield. Do you know what I mean? But
yeah.
We got that little luxury this time where we can bring players on and stuff. So yeah. Other than that, a bit disappointed that Clark's still not ready. But
yeah, that's another one I didn't mention yet.
I do think although he's still doing well, I do think he could be. We could again. We might be just taking it slow with him because we know pretty much. One more point anyway. We're in the playoffs, guaranteed. And we need our best players to be fit and ready. So I can see why. So we haven't got any really, really serious injuries, touch wood, at the moment. So I think they seem to be managing that a little better. And that might be a little bit behind the scenes of where we under Nathan Jones, we constantly got a lot of injuries. Do you know what I mean? Like masses of amounts, not just like one or two players, 5 or 6 players. So that seems to not be so bad now. Yeah, we've got a bigger squad than that, but it doesn't seem to be as bad. So that's maybe something that's going on in the background, training differently. Who knows? You know what I mean? I'm sure that they still had regular sleep and things like that, but I'm sure there's been little tweaks here and there, like there has been on the pitch, which is been shown and that. So yeah. I wasn't too surprised really.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Obviously I didn't mention Clark because he ain't been in the last, what is it now, 2 games. I've just not completely forgot, but just got used to it the last couple of games in that sense. And like you say, we literally only need a point now. Obviously, it's ideal that we still try and go out and get 3 because of what we can still achieve. But like you say, when it comes to the playoff crunch time, if it is that, then obviously we need, like you say, we need our best players and that available. Because obviously we did see last season when we didn't, and when we were, quite reliant on Elijah, what happened. So that's how I see it. But yeah, that was obviously the lineup. Now going into the first half, it was one of them where I obviously, I was there. I felt it was one where it's been one of them where we've had quite a few of these sort of games this season where it's took us a while to get into the swing of things, especially in the first half. Obviously, we did see it against Blackpool as well. I thought it was very similar in that sense. What did you make of the first half? Obviously,
I had issues with iFollow, as a lot of people did. So,
yeah, iFollow was proper bad by the sounds of it.
I just couldn't. It just weren't working. So even when it comes to player ratings, you might have to take that with a little bit of a pinch of salt for me, but I still do them. But yeah, it's very similar. But that's the way. Like I said in the last episode, like we tend to like suss the teams out, see what's going on, and then just step it up from there. Or they're very energetic in the first 15 minutes against us. Then teams chase us down and they try and stop us from playing, but eventually they can't. They can't keep doing it. So yeah, that's what I thought. Sort of say it kept it was a nightmare.
Yeah, I had a lot of people saying it was I saw. It's a bit frustrating because it's rare that it does that. Well,
it's like basically watching extended highlights. Do you know what I mean? Switching from this to that, it just weren't working. Turn it on, put it back on. It's just a nightmare.
But yeah, then obviously we did get the goal, another late goal at the end of the first half. Obviously, that's back-to-back games he'd done that. Morris, obviously, he was getting a bit of stick. Obviously, a former Rotherham player. I didn't even know that until Alex told me when we was walking into the ground. I was like, really? I didn't even know that. But yeah, obviously, he got the goal. Brilliant goal, by the way. The skill, the finish, the way he's lifted it up as well. Oh, what a goal, mate. And obviously, we had a chance before that as well. I think it took a deflection, then it was a save by the keeper. We all thought it was in. We was going mental in that away end. Obviously, and then the Rotherham fans.
Yeah, who was that? Was that Bell?
Yeah, it was Bell. Yeah. And he's done that. He's had, shots from outside the box and been close a lot of times this season. Huddersfield, he scored, didn't he? Yeah. Away. Watford, he nearly scored that goal. He has had chances like that and nearly scored, from more than he has from them. And I just felt, it was we was going to get a goal, after that chance. And I literally said, it's obviously close to the Rotherham fans and that bantering at football games like you do. I was like, wait until we score because we will any minute now. Obviously, Morris did as well, which made it even better. And just a brilliant finish yet again, adds to his tally again. What did you make of the goal, Dad?
Yeah, so I was saying, that Bell shot was definitely going in. Great save from the keeper. And then we've done it again, because like I've said before, we seem to get these goals at the vital times. Similar to, in a way, to the Ruddock goal in the previous game, where he didn't panic, he didn't rush it, he took it down, swiveled the defender, and then smashed it into the top corner. Great finish. I think he'll get 20 odd goals this season, definitely. Obviously, he's probably not going to catch Akpom. I mean, if they weren't in the playoffs, then I don't know how it works with end of season. But for me, the end of season is when you finish the end of the season. So, he might have caught up with him. But who knows? It's still possible. But
9 goals behind right now.
9 goals, yeah.
And like you say, 20 goals, I definitely think so. Because that's only 2 goals.
Potentially for us. it's possible, but he'd have to pretty much score in every game. But whatever, he's done fantastically well. I think he'll get second.
Yeah, he's only 2. I'm looking now. He's only 2 behind Gyökeres. So
yeah, I think he'll get.
Coventry might not get playoffs. You know, their game tomorrow or whenever it is massive because it is actually against Blackburn, 6 versus 7.
Some good games tonight and tomorrow, but yeah, great finish. Well, time deserved. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So we go in, you know, obviously 1-0 up. You know, obviously delighted after getting that goal. And I think giving that goal as well, it was similar to Blackpool in the sense where it gave us confidence to believe we can go on to win this game as well, even though obviously the Blackpool one was to make things level at that time. This one, going 1-0 up, it just gave us confidence. And we actually got a penalty. We actually got a penalty again, 3rd penalty of the season. Obviously, Woodrow, obviously I was gassed because I said on the vlog, because there was no Elijah, I said Woodrow and Morris to score. I was like, come on, Woodrow, here we go. It's your your time. Obviously, he didn't quite score the actual penalty, but when it bounced out to him, I knew he was always going to score. And 2-0, just like that. It was absolutely brilliant, wasn't it?
Yeah, the handball, like, do you know what I mean? Like, he definitely handballed it. It wasn't like because he was unaware who was running in behind him, so he sort of panicked and couldn't really do anything. Yeah, obviously if Elijah was on, then he would have took it because he's the main penalty taker. Then I was thinking, who's gonna, you know, I didn't really think. I just see Woodrow picked up the ball, and I was like, yeah, that's good, regardless, like, mate, because we want it, you know, he needs to score. And yeah, it wasn't that bad of a penalty, to be honest. I think the keeper done well. Their keeper was all right, played well. It's a decent save, but you know, the awareness of just being on there, which he should be doing anyway, but he put it away, and I was pleased for him.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You know, obviously he was loving it when he scored. You know, obviously came over to us. Obviously that was where we were behind, and it could have been more. Honestly, it could have been more. I'm not even over exaggerating. It could have been 4 or 5. Honestly, the chances we had. Berry scored. You know, obviously it was a handball. In my opinion, it probably was definitely. You know, obviously he scored there. That chance, like I said, in the first half as well. And then Morris had a chance. We thought that was in as well. The side netting, we was all going mental again. But honestly, it was, in the end, it was a comfortable win, to be honest. I think Rotherham, they probably had about 2 good chances. One of them was from the free kick. It weren't too far wide. And then another chance was somewhere in the first half, I think. But other than that, it's pretty comfortable. And for me, it was a similar away performance to Wigan. I'd probably say even better, to be honest. Obviously, that game was 2-0 as well. But I just think this one was better because of the chances we had. But honestly, it could have been a lot more. Yeah, it was just brilliant. Obviously, you know, certain things happened in the game. Obviously, a little bit gutted about, and we don't know what it could mean. Obviously, one of them was obviously, you know, Morris coming off. I don't think it's that bad though. At the time, obviously, I'm a little bit, you know, a little bit gutted in the sense because obviously Elijah's already out. He should be back soon, you know, but obviously, you know, that means you'd have to go with Taylor, who I think is a good player, but obviously we haven't seen too much of him yet to be, you know, seeing him start maybe regularly in these games. So at the same time, it's good that we only need a point in that sense. But yeah, you know, stuff like that. Obviously, it was good to see Berry get a run out. And then obviously Freeman again towards the end. And this time, I don't even know where Freeman went. But what did you make of the game overall, really, before we jump into the player ratings?
Well, you know, as I said, you know, in the last 15 minutes, I couldn't watch any of it or whatever anyway. But overall, like, yeah, good. Bradley looked pretty decent when he was on, pretty composed, pretty done a couple of funny things and that as well.
Yeah, we was loving that.
See that you know, he's confident. He hasn't been thinking, well, I'm out of the team, and yeah, and things like. Do you know what I mean? We know he's injured for a while and that, but like he believes, like, you know, straight in captain as well. So that was good. Yeah, the Morris situation. I think that he's probably all right, but then it's similar to when Elijah went off as well. So it potentially could be a totally different front two tomorrow. Going back to where we only need a point, we're not desperate to win the game, so that could well happen, and I wouldn't be surprised if it did happen. Because you don't want to, depending on the injury, like if it's just a knock or whatever, then it'd be fine. But if it's could potentially get worse, then don't bother risking it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, overall, from what I did see, composed, another clean sheet. Could have been quite tricky going there, but again, which proved that we've got enough. Even with certain players out as well, 3 sort of big players recently, Osho, Doughty, Elijah, all not playing, and we still, even more than thinking, well, yeah, definitely 1-0, but then we went one better and scored 2. Do you know what I mean? So, and still could have scored more. So, yeah, you can't really grumble. Just shows you that the squad depth and the team spirit is still there. Still, it's not going anywhere. They're not panicking. They're not getting nervous. They're just relishing it. So that's really good.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I definitely agree with that. But yeah, moving on to the player ratings. Obviously, we'll start off with Ethan. I would say clean sheet, pretty comfortable yet again. Don't really think there was a scare towards him of chances. Like I said, I can only remember him having one really good chance, and that was the free kick. So yeah, when they crossed the ball in a couple of times, done as usual, get into it, USA, all of that. I'm just going to go with 7.5.
Yeah, I'll give him the same. Again, didn't have much to do from what I saw, and distribution's good. And he just turns up, if he has to produce the saves, generally he does. And if he doesn't, then it's just, you don't see panic. You don't panic. You're not panicking now. If they do get the ball in there and things like that. So, yeah, 7.5.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then moving on to, we'll go to Bradley. We'll start off with Bradley. Obviously, like I said earlier, his first start since November, and he was brilliant. He was brilliant, like you said as well, captain. Obviously, done that shit hours moment, which was funny. I was loving that myself, and yeah, it was just really good. He looked like he just when players come back, they can look a little bit dodgy. He was just on it. He was just on it. It was like he was playing regularly alongside Lockyer and that anyway.
He has that in him. He's done that against Blackburn.
Yeah, exactly. I remember he's done it a lot of times, which I've bigged him up for in that Blackburn game, like you say, last season. There was another game, but I can't remember it was from the top of my head. But either way, brilliant to see him back. So yeah, I was really impressed with Bradley. I'm going to go with an 8.
Yeah, from what I saw as well, I agree. I thought it was a good, comeback performance, especially as captain. Obviously, clean sheet. Weren't taking any rubbish. The little, nudge on their player, and then a little pat on the head as if to say, you got a while to go yet. Calm down, kind of thing. And yeah, just composed on the ball, big, strong. Do you know what I mean? It was good. It's nice to have that. I know, obviously, Lockyer's. I think he's stronger than Lockyer. Lockyer is positioning, is winning headers and etc. is good. Obviously, Bradley can do that as well, but he's just he's just stronger. Obviously, he probably might get tested against better opponents. That's the thing we got to see. Because obviously we've had him since League 1, maybe 2. So we'll see. But yeah, great performance to come back. He did stand out a little bit for me. So 8.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's fair enough. Moving on to the next one, we'll go over to Lockyer. Obviously, again, part of that clean sheet, solid and called upon yet again, headering it away. He's just Lockyer. He's just blockier. You know what I mean? I'm just going to go I'll go with another 7.5, same as Ethan.
Yeah, I'll give him exactly the same. Again, just reiterate just what you said, isn't it, really?
Yeah, literally straight like that.
And don't forget, like, I didn't, when I watched the game, I do, look at individual performances where I couldn't do that so much. So, you know, I still haven't really decided who I can really pick for man of the match yet. But
yeah, what helps when I go to the away games is obviously they always ask us. So I have a little debate then, and obviously I will get to it when it comes to that. So yeah, I've got mine sorted already. Moving on to the next player, we'll go over to Burke. Obviously, the last one of, the centre backs. Again, I thought he was decent. He was calm and composed. Obviously, you know, as time goes on, you will see him link up better with Dre May. So yeah, as for a rating for Burke, again, I'm just going to go another 7.5.
yeah, I didn't really see much of Burke, you know, but you know, I'll have to just go a little bit with what you said because that's all I can do really.
Yeah.
I've just found out that he's injured, so that's not good.
Who's that? Reece Burke?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, flipping hell, he's just come back not too long ago, man.
So him and Osho potentially could be tricky for us. But yeah, 7.5.
Jeez, that's going to be interesting. I don't even know who we're going to go with now on that right-hand side then. It's going to be interesting. Obviously, we'll get into that on the lineups. And then moving on to the wing-backs, we'll start off with Bell. Again, I thought he was good, composed. You know, obviously, that was his first time in a few games. He's been back as a left wing-back. Obviously, he's been left centre-back recently. It was just good yet again. He's one of our most consistent players, in my opinion, especially if, you know, the position changes he has. Even though he's obviously asked to do the same sort of role, he's just still good there wherever he is. So for me, I'm going to go with another 7.5.
Who's this? Sorry,
Bell.
Yeah. Again, I can't. You know, that shot as well. Nearly scored. Looked composed. 7.5.
There you go, straight like that. Moving on to Dre May. Again, he was good. I'm pretty sure there was one of the yellow cards I thought was harsh, and I think it was either his or I want to say Ruddock's. I think it was. I can't remember who it was, but yeah, he was decent again. You know, obviously, you know, he's got that quality. Again, just going to go with 7.5.
Yeah, again, honestly, mate, that's all I can say because I just didn't see enough. You know what I mean? If I had seen enough of a player, then I'll go with it. But I'm just gonna have to go with that.
Yeah, exactly. And then moving on to midfield now. We'll start off with Nakamba. Again, stuck in. You know, again, another player. You can see his qualities there. Passing was good. His tackling was good. Just what he's been like recently. That's just what it was like again. I'm going to go with another 7.5.
7.5.
There you go. And then moving on to the next midfielder, which was obviously Ruddock. Now, I did actually give Ruddock my man of the match on the coach. He was brilliant. He was absolutely brilliant. Now, we know under Rob Edwards it's been difficult, you know, except when obviously he was injured, to not put him in the team. But his footwork in this game was phenomenal. Like, I remember at times in that game there was about 2-3 players going at him. He literally skilled them all up. Like, and Ruddock's not usually that type of player either. He's just very, you know, just does the basics. You know, it doesn't really tend to do all this flashy stuff. And you know, he was really good. He was really good. I was really impressed with him. I've been a lot under Rob Edwards, but this game was, I'll put it out there, for me, it was probably one of the best I've seen him in under Rob Edwards. So for me, my man of the match rating, I'm going to go with a 9.
Well, I didn't see enough of him, you know, because so. Do you know what? I can't really do man of the match then, if that's the case, because it sounds like, from what you're saying, that he did outshine everyone else. And did he get it for the for the club or whatever as well? And I don't know. But,
he came. I can't remember who they gave first, but he got second. So
yeah,
I think they give it. I want to say they give it to. I don't know. Be able to have a look.
Yeah, I'll just have to. I'll just have to agree with you.
Yeah. No, where is it? I did see it. They give it to Dre May. So you don't give it to. So yeah. And then moving on to obviously the other midfielder, who's obviously higher up, Campbell. again, Pitbull, you know what you're going to expect from him, 7.5.
7.5.
There you go. And then Morris obviously got the goal, or one of the goals, shall I say. Good finish. And he was just really good yet again. Like I say, the skill and the shot, you know, the way he's got the height on it as well. Brilliant. Close to getting man of the match for me. I'm going to go with 8.5.
Yeah, 8.
There you go. And then moving on to the last out of the 11, which is obviously Woodrow. Obviously, he did miss his penalty, but then he did score the rebound. I'll go with 8. There you go. So that's same there. And then moving on to subs quickly. Obviously, you made 3 subs in this game. Taylor, when he come on, it was one of them where second half I felt we were comfortable for most of it, to be honest. So I'm just going to go with, might sound low, but I'm going to go with 6.5.
Just breeze through these, mate, because this is a period pretty much where I didn't see anything at all.
Yeah.
I mean, which is annoying.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, so there's that. Berry, again, I'm going to go for 6.5. And then Freeman, he come on 4 minutes. Obviously, there was a lot of added time, but in normal time, I'll just go for 6 for Freeman. So, yeah, there you go. They are the player ratings. So, yeah, like I said, I give Ruddock man of the match. Let me go through the comments. Big up Hanno, he says yes. Big up yourself. Do you guys think Rotherham will stay up?
Definitely.
I mean, they're in the battle. If there is a time to stay up, I think it will be now.
They've got Burnley, which is, you know, obviously they're probably
Burnley, that's tonight, isn't it?
But I still think they'll stay up. I think there's other teams that are worse than them, and I think they'll make it this time.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, exactly. I do think if there's a time to stay up for them, it will be this season.
Yeah.
So yeah, I reckon they will, mate. I reckon they will. Big up Stephen as well. He said, big up Ty, big up Daz. Can't talk much, still doing work, but I'm here. Not a problem, mate. Not a problem. You're always a regular to anything, so I know you definitely are tuning in. So big up to yourself. Hanno's got a question for us. He says, are injuries becoming a bit of a concern? I'll let you answer this one first.
As I said earlier, they're not major injuries. They're just not, you know, slight injuries here and there. Do you know what I mean? And we're managing them properly, so it's not too bad. And I've just also found out that quite a few players are going to be back anyway. So, nah, not really, not at the moment. Unless, you know, Morris gets injured, properly injured. You know, certain players get injured, then it would be a concern. But other than that, no, it's not really.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. It's not like overhaul of injuries in the sense where they're awfully bad.
Yeah, and also, like, you know, we had like in that game 3 players out, as I said, and we still won. So, nah, for me,
exactly.
Not at the moment. No, definitely not.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I agree. Big up Billy. He says, "Come on, you has." Big up yourself, mate. And it also says, "Hi." Big up to yourself. So yeah, that is that. Moving on to the game tomorrow. Obviously, we take on Reading. We travel to Reading. I do remember last season it was a midweek game as well. I did go to that one. I'll not be going to this one, but I will be doing a watch along. And it's an interesting one, this one. I'll give you a bit of insight going into it, like I usually do. So yeah, it's an interesting one. Obviously, Reading, as we know, obviously they got the points deduction not too long ago. And with their recent results, even though in their last game, obviously, they did get a draw against Burnley, they still are in the relegation zone. So yeah, bit of insight going into it. So Reading have won 4 of their last 5 home league matches against Luton, losing the most recent encounter. The Royals are looking to avoid consecutive home league defeats against Luton for the very first time, which is interesting. Luton are unbeaten in their last 4 league meetings with Reading since a 2-1 loss in December 2020. Reading have won just one of their last 21 league matches played on a Wednesday, drawing 6, losing 14. A 3-0 home win over Blackburn earlier this season. Luton Town are unbeaten in their last 9 Wednesday league games, won 5, drawn 4 since a 1-0 away defeat to Brentford in 2021. And obviously, no, Brentford are, good team in the Premier League. So that's good to hear. It's been that long. And then Mete, I can never say his name, has 4 league goals against Luton Town, with all 4 coming in the same game. A 5-0 win in July 2020. I remember that. Oh, that was horrible. He hasn't scored in any of his other 4 games against the Hatters. So overall, there's some stats there that, are good for us, mainly, more so than Reading. A bit about what Rob Edwards has had to say. Press conference didn't actually come out too long ago. So obviously Luton head to Reading tomorrow evening on the back of a 10-match unbeaten run, knowing that victory will secure a place in the playoffs for a successive season. Second place, Sheffield United are also in great form, however, and they play tonight, obviously kicking off against Bristol City, 5 points above the Hatters with a game in hand. That means the Hatters could potentially be 8 points behind the Blades as they travel to the Select Car Leasing Stadium. But with 4 matches remaining and the Yorkshire side in the FA Cup semi-final action at the weekend while Town take on. This is what Rob Edwards has said. We want to win every game. So at the moment, until someone tells me that we can't get automatic promotion, then we're going to try and win every game and get every point that's available to us. While something's possible, then we've got to try and go for it. We're well aware of where we're at and the brilliant position that Sheffield United are in, but we've still got to go and get those points and get those wins. They'll be confident they can do that as they've done that all season long, but we've got 4 games to go and we want to try and win every one of them. So yeah, there you go with that. Obviously, Rob Edwards, he obviously experienced a 19-game unbeaten run while obviously he was at Forest Green Rovers, and he wants his side to savour the moment as they fight at the top end of the division. And then he also says it doesn't happen often in your career, probably a couple of times in my playing career. And I was lucky enough last year to be a part of a team that went 19 games unbeaten and we won the league in the end. So I've experienced it a few times before, but it's something that when you have it, you've got to try and keep it and you've got to enjoy it as well. Edwards also had this reply when asked about his squad's work rate and how the players always refer to remaining humble. It's one of the values that we're really big on, he said. We want people to be really respectful, honest, show humility. And I think that's great that every single person, whether it's a member of staff or our players, all have those values. And that's a big part of who we are. So that's a bit about that. So yeah, after saying all of that, see the insight and all of that as well. How are you feeling going into this one, Dad?
Yeah, like they used to be our bogey team. Yeah. Simple as that, the 3-0, the 5-0. Even that is a bit of a freak one. That's when we stayed up.
I remember Reading fan that I know was messaging me.
They used to, and years ago as well. They used to be our bogey team. But recently, we've improved. Said unbeaten in 4. A couple of interesting stats about their Wednesday things. Didn't know that. That's So I think I'm pretty confident we can go there and get a result. Part of me was hoping that Paul Ince would still be there because of his comment about us about we don't play football,
and that is exactly why in the title, if you see it, I'll put no Paul Ince, unfortunately.
I'm pretty confident that we're gonna do them, and I'm sure the players are as well. Yeah, it'd have to be bizarre circumstances, I think, for us to not get a result. So I'm pretty confident we'll carry that on. I don't know if Sheffield United potentially winning tonight it could affect us, but we know deep down that we, probably that's a difficult task. Do you know what I mean? And we just got to be in full flow for the playoffs, and that's it. This is just the game we should be winning. Again, not going to be easy, but I just think we got enough. And certain players are back. I'm pretty confident we'll get a result.
Yeah, no, I said a bit about it on my championship predictions yesterday. Do make sure you check that out if you haven't already. And I said I'm feeling confident. again, I'm saying it week upon week, but just the momentum we're having, we're just proving that we are, a top end championship team now. Everyone's putting in that shift, and like you said, Reading did have a bit of our bogey team, but obviously they haven't beat us since 2020. I know a lot of games we've had against them recently, we beat them. I don't even remember the last time we drew to them. To be honest, there's 3 games I think of from the top of my head since
Well, we
that
drew
2020
with them earlier in the season.
Oh yeah, of course.
And then we have
so
that.
The highlight of that game. Well, one highlight.
We've got better players. There was in that game, I think a couple of players come off injured early. Bradley, we lost 2 defenders early on.
That's why I don't remember that game actually, because it's 0-0.
We've got a much better squad than them. They lost certain players like Swift and that. We're due to give them hiding.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But yeah, so that aged well, didn't it? What I just said, we literally drew 0-0 this season. But no, the 3 games I think of, since that 2020, we've won all of them. Obviously 1-0 in the FA Cup. I remember predicting that right. 1-0, obviously last game of the season last season, and then obviously last season's game at their ground was also a midweek 2-0 win for us, own goal and a Campbell goal. So yeah, that's that. They're the games I remember, and yeah, they're just obviously like I said, they did get good result against Burnley, but still not enough for them. Obviously, they're still in the relegation zone, and like I say, I'm just confident the way we've been at the moment. We're just showing we're top end, and people are starting to notice it. Maybe not everyone wants to give the credit, but there is people who do and are starting to notice it. So, yeah, I'm confident, to be honest.
Well, with that Burnley game, was that the first game? I don't think it was, but was that the first game they'd played since they got promoted? Yeah.
Yes. But obviously, they're still trying to chase the points. And
yeah. So, but I think they probably did celebrate getting promoted, so they probably weren't on it.
Oh no, sorry, no, it wasn't. No, I'm telling a lie. It's their second game since. Sorry, they played Sheffield United, didn't they? On Monday. So they won. They got promotion on the Friday when they beat Middlesbrough away, and then they beat Sheffield United at home 2-0, and then
they probably didn't celebrate because they knew they had Sheffield United. Do you know what I'm saying? They're the only team closest to them, so they probably didn't. I've got a feeling that they did after that game, and that might be what because it's certain. I think Liverpool done that one, or someone won the league, and then they played someone, and they just weren't on it at all. Do you know what I mean? So I feel there's a bit of that.
Yeah, no, fair enough. And like I said, it might be a good point because it's Burnley and that, but at the same time, they're still in the relegation zone. So is it really in that sense? So yeah, let's go through some comments before we get into the lineup. And you're going to have to let me know about this team news because I haven't even managed to see it. Who's back? So is it anyone? Is it Osho maybe or anyone like that? Because I'm struggling. I'll be honest. Lineup, when it comes to lineup, I'm struggling for that right side of centre back. Because like I say, Burke's out. Osho's out. Potts, I don't think, still back. Even then, I wouldn't put him on the right because obviously left footed. But yeah, we go through some comments. Lewis says, evening, big up to yourself. And obviously Nightbot doing its thing. But yeah, so let's just get into the lineup. So it's going to be interesting. Like I said, obviously a few injuries as we know. So obviously Ethan in goal. Oh, I need to turn my caps lock off. Ethan in goal. There he is. I'm going to start off with the left side because the right side I really don't know, to be honest. I'm going to go Sonny Bradley. Start again. Saying that, I don't know if he was the one in the middle or it's Lockyer the other day. I couldn't really tell. But either way, it is something like that. Lockyer in the middle. No, this is where I'm struggling. I can't lie. Even Fred, I haven't even seen him.
I'll tell you what's going to happen. Bradley will play on the right side.
Okay, right. I could see that, yeah.
And then Bell will play on the left side, and Doughty will probably play on the left wing back.
Okay, so is he one of them that might be back?
Confirmed, but I'd say that he's probably all right because
I mean, you do see this when we do get these injuries. You always see someone come back, don't you?
Yeah.
So,
that's why
that's fair enough.
Yeah, I could be
Yeah,
wrong.
I wouldn't mind that.
And then it could be that Dre may ends up, in that defence somewhere. But that's probably what I think is going to happen.
Yeah, fair enough. I'll go with that then. So obviously Ethan in goal, Bell left side, Lockyer. I could see Bradley on the right, to be fair, as much as he is left-footed. Doherty on the left, Drayman on the right. Midfield, pretty sure we're all good in midfield when it comes to injuries and that. So I think it should be the same. Obviously, only Clark, but I feel go with what it's been anyway.
Or I'll touch on it. It could be Lockyer and Bradley switch places.
Yeah, I could see that as well. To be fair,
it'd be something like that. I would have thought.
Yeah.
That's a difficult one. Clark's been training, so he's fit and ready.
Would I put him back? I'd probably still put him on a bench, bring him on. To be honest, because I feel the midfield we've gone with it's been all right. Obviously, we know when it's Cam, ideally we want to put him there, but I just think I think go with this midfield has been all right and just give him a bit of a run out, and then maybe start him in the next game.
Yeah,
because that'd make a lot more sense to me. Because that game, obviously, every game's massive now. But that game's proper because it is literally Middlesbrough who are, behind us. So, yeah. And then
might be a bit of kidology. Basically, Morris is fine and Elijah's fine.
Okay.
So it might. What I mean is, he might, because he's sort of that to Reading and right, your team. You're telling me this person's fit, that. But he might still put Elijah on the bench, start Woodrow again. Do you know what I mean? I think Morris would he's just so hungry and and I said before that sometimes the manager's got to go, well, but if it's nothing, then he'll be starting. So there's potentially Elijah could start on the bench. Because Woodrow, in the last game and a half, he has played pretty well. So it's, I'd be saying that Morris is definitely starting.
Yeah, no, I could see that. I could see that, to be honest, especially if him trying to, obviously, it's looking slim that he'll get top goal scorer, like we said earlier, but he could get second. I did actually say that a couple of weeks ago as well. Obviously, he wanted to try and get 20 as well. So I could see that, to be fair. I wasn't superly... Obviously, when he went down, I was worried. But then when he was up and walking, I was like, okay, it might not be that bad. That's what it may seem. So, yeah, I'm going to go Morris and Woodrow as well. Obviously, Woodrow scored in the last game as well. And Elijah, for me, it's similar to Clark, where, the next game... Obviously, like I say, every game's massive, but the next game's even bigger in that sense to be playing them.
You got to think of the opponents as well. We should be, we should have enough.
Exactly.
You don't want to be, if you can give them a little bit of a rest or put them on the bench, then do that. What we didn't mention as well, I'm pretty sure that the last game, might be wrong, but it's the first time that Morris and Woodrow have started up front together.
Yeah,
considering we both got them the last time they might have played together. If they didn't before that, would have been when they played for Barnsley. So, I felt that helped Woodrow as well. That makes sense because he's playing up front with his former, whatever you want to call it, sparring partner, and not in the attacking midfield kind of role or banged out on the left or whatever. Do you know what I mean? So I would not be surprised if he does start. It's going to be interesting. The only problem is the bench regarding defenders because we ain't got anyone.
Yeah, that's what worries me. And what we'll probably have to do
might have to bring someone in from the
midfield or something. Yeah,
from the younger team essentially.
Yeah,
Um,
true. Actually, saying that, I don't know if you saw it on iFollow. There was a youngster actually training. He was doing one-to-one training before the game. I can't quite remember his name. Apologies. And I think Alex said to me he's a defender. So
yeah,
you never know.
we got to
He
have
might be a-
we have to have a defender on it, at least one defender on there.
Yeah.
Because otherwise we're doing what we've done before. We're putting Ruddock in defence and that. And yeah, it's all right. And potentially it's all right against Reading, but against if that's the only slightly worrying thing going back to what Hanno said earlier. Do you know what I mean? Now it can be slightly concerning. I don't think Osho is that bad. I think Potts is probably on his way back, but the Burke one, that's annoying more than anything because it constantly happens to him.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I said earlier, he just come back.
Yeah. You know, we one player back and then two out. You know, that's just,
It's very similar to last season.
We have had
as well.
defensive injuries all season, pretty much. Let's be honest, and we've still got kept loads of clean sheets. Got what the third best defense in the league, or second maybe. So we just got to go with that. Potentially Draymaker could probably drop back if he had to. Because he's I'd say he'd probably be pretty good defensively, and then what you'd have to do then, you could probably put Clark on that side, or Doughty could probably go on that side as well. There's options. There's still options. You just got to juggle a bit, but let's go with that. But I wouldn't be surprised to see Clark starting.
Fair enough. That's fair. No, that's fair enough. But yeah, no. After saying all that, it is that time, Dad. It is that time. Score prediction. What is your score prediction against Reading and goal scorers?
I just don't think they offer much going forward. I mean, I don't know if Andy Carroll's there, is injured, or he's broke his toenail or something. But he doesn't seem to do it. He just barges into people, mate. He's just wasted talent because at one point he was a decent player. But touch wood. Do you know what I mean? Well, I can't see him doing a lot, even if he does that. I just don't think they offer too much. And they're just going to be scrappy. They're going to be, nasty. Noel Hunt, who's standing in for them, he was a decent player for Reading. He's like sort of a Mr. Reading kind of character. He will galvanise them a little bit, but let's be honest, we're too good for them. So I'm going to go with I want to say we'll hammer them because that's what I felt. Maybe if Paul Ince was there, we would have hammered him. We got Tom Ince there as well. Apparently, when we had him on loan, he was, he'll probably be their best player. But 3-0 Luton, I'm going with.
Jeez, we love that. We love that emphatic win. I just had a look. He seems to start quite a few games, but then again, I'll say he's just not that guy. He's just not that guy no more. Hence why he's playing for Reading. Do you know what I mean? Like, let's be honest. But do get in your score predictions. A few of you have already, so big up to yourselves. My score prediction, like I said, on the championship predictions yesterday, I've gone 2-0 Luton. I've gone with the exact same score as it was last season at their ground and the exact same score that we had in our last game. And yeah, I just think, it's going to be... They'll try and, make it difficult for us, but I just think our quality will shine through in the end like it did last season. And we're even better now. And just the momentum we've got. And I think we'll confirm the playoff spot tomorrow. And my goal scorers, I'll go Morris and I'll go... Do you know what? I'll go Ruddock.
I'm going to go Morris, Campbell again, and Bradley.
Fair enough. What I've just noticed, all right, me and Jackie, we've gone with the same scorers again. And I have not even looked this time. Obviously, we haven't gone with the same scores this time, but that's crazy. That is actually crazy. And hello as well. That is mental, that. Harry says you'll easily beat Reading easily, 2 or 3-0. Well, that's both our predictions. So hopefully, mate, hopefully. Jackie's laughing. And Billy as well has gone 2-0. Yeah, 2-0, 3-0 seems the popular one. So, yeah, no, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. But, Dad, any final things you'd like to say?
I should enjoy it basically tomorrow. Again, I've said it, or I say it, you know what I mean? Enjoy it and but we should confirm our playoff place tomorrow. You know, for me, Sheffield United, they have to start, you know, if they win tonight, for me, it's probably going to be over. You know, so just concentrate on finishing third, and then the thing is, at the moment, anyone can finish in sixth, and that's who we're going to play. So, but I was talking to my colleague at work, and so there ain't anyone who's potentially going to finish sixth that we really need to be worrying about. I think the most dangerous team are already in the playoffs, really. Do you know what I mean? Middlesbrough, Millwall. I think there's potentially Blackburn, maybe, but they're the teams that we should be concentrating on and things like that. I think that anyone that gets into six normally it'll be on the. I think it'll go down to the last game of the season, and the pressure will be on them massively to beat us. So we should be getting to the final. I want to jump the gun and that, but I think that's what will happen, and we'll see who Middlesbrough get, and you know. Potentially, you probably do want Middlesbrough, because if someone beats them unexpectedly, then they might suddenly get that big, massive thing. Then we'll be expected to beat them, and that could be hard. So I'd rather potentially have Middlesbrough. And as I was saying as well, we can affect Blackburn's position in the table because we've got to play them. Middlesbrough, I think they still will finish fourth. I don't think they finish above, but again, we can affect that. But that'd be a good tester to see. You know, because I know we lost the game, Rob Edwards' first game in charge, but we was a bit unlucky in that game. In my opinion, we got sent off. Bell got sent off, and you know, but still, that'll be a little bit of a tester if we can keep them quiet, because they're the top scorers in the league as it stands. Obviously, Akpom's helped with the 27 goals, but we need to be keeping him quiet. And that's going to be an interesting one. But yeah, let's be honest, we're going to confirm it tomorrow, and we need to still stay switched on. That's the key thing. And I know that Rob Edwards and the players will still, we're in that position now. Last season it was like, oh, can we make? Are we going to get the playoffs? Yeah, probably are. It was a bit like, and then we got them injuries, but we still were quite confident even with that, and we could have easily got to the final. Let's be honest. But now, look how much better we are from them. And we're the only team in the playoffs who've got that experience from so long, you know, wasn't that long ago. Sorry. Do you know what I mean? So that's going to help us. So really, it's looking good for us. But we just need to score them, just hammer a couple of teams a little bit. Do you know what I mean? Get that confidence up a little bit. Confidence is there because we create the chances, but yeah, I just enjoy it, because this next month is going to be crazy, absolutely crazy for this club. Just enjoy it.
Yeah,
starting with
absolutely.
And funnily enough, wasn't it confirmed last season? We haven't mentioned it, that when we beat Reading, it was confirmed that we was in the playoffs. Was that not the case? When Cornish?
No. It was if we would have beat Blackpool, but obviously we had that controversial.
We did. Then we played Reading, no, and Cornick scored that.
Oh, yes, sorry.
Yeah.
Yes. No, sorry. I'll tell you why I'm saying that, because I'm thinking of the away game. Sorry, I'm thinking too early. Yes, because obviously that was last game of the season,
wasn't it? But that confirmed playoffs for us. I'm sure it did. So how ironic is that? That's going to happen again. But this time we won't need Cornick to be hiding around the back of the keeper. We're gonna punish them properly, and it's going to show why we're better. Everything's a step better, and it's showing a step better. This time, I think we'll definitely get to Wembley. This is where we need to be utterly 100% switched on, because anything can happen, and that's going to be the real tester. But
I agree. I agree. Absolutely. Let's go through some comments. Billy says, come on, Luton. Absolutely. Luton deserve Premier League football. Yeah, big up yourself, mate. Big up yourself. Obviously, a Chelsea fan that is a regular on the channel. And he also says, hope you both have a great evening. Big up, lads. Big up yourself, mate. Big up yourself. Hope you have a good evening as well, mate. But yeah, that was a good way to wrap it up, man. That was a good way to wrap it up. Episode 98.
I'll just touch on it again.
That's all right.
You know, Rob Edwards says, you know, football has a habit of coming back and biting you in the arse or whatever, yeah? Just think about it.
We know who that gig was at, eh?
Cornick was scoring the winning goal to get us into the playoffs. A year later, he's playing for Bristol City, scoring an own goal against Watford. Do you know what I mean? Like, it is mad. But that's what I'm referring to. Like, we are stepping up. And I think that we need to go up this season, because I think we'll still be strong if we don't. But next season, potentially, there's going to be some very, very difficult teams to override in the Championship, especially if like teams like Leicester go down or Everton, or it's going to be even more difficult for us to then finish better than third. Do you know what I'm saying?
I do agree.
We've really got to take this chance, because, you know, and I think we can. I don't think the pressure's as much, but Wembley, that'll be the killer. That will actually be. But last time I was there with Luton, it was Luton. It was Luton. So I'm sure
we have to recreate that photo, Dad. You know
one better, yeah. So yeah, sorry, just enjoy it, and just make the most of it, because the season's nearly done.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Just something I did want to wrap up on. Talking about Blackburn, actually, fair play to them guys when it comes to ticket prices. So obviously that's our last away game of the season, right? I think it might be because, you know, the time they kick off, because I know a lot of the away sides when the teams are home, when we play away, they're quite respectful when it comes to it. But literally, you know, for under 18s, it's only a tenner. 18s until 23-year-olds, only a tenner. Even adults, it's only 20, which is, you know, how it should ideally be for me. And if you're an under 18, mate, you are loving it. It's only a $5.
They've done that across the board for their own fans and that as well, then.
I'm not sure. I've only just seen it from ours. I just had a little look at it.
They just want to get as many, because add to the atmosphere and that, because really they're you know, tenterhooks for them, and they need to be winning tonight and things like that. They have got a game in hand, I do know that. But yeah, their
game tonight's massive. Honestly, 6th versus 7th. Don't think it could get even bigger for that 6th spot. Honestly, it's crazy. So yeah, no, I just wanted to touch on that. Big up to them for that. So yeah, Harry says up the Luton. Big up yourself, mate. Big up yourself. So yeah, that is where we're going to wrap up. Like I said, I will be doing a watch long tomorrow. I'm not going to the game, and then obviously we don't play till Monday after tomorrow. So the Hatter show probably be on Sunday. Make the most sense, wouldn't it? I guess probably in the evening to obviously talk about this game. And then obviously get into that massive one against Middlesbrough. Obviously, every game's massive, but that one is even more massive because of the positions of both of us.
See, that's another thing, you know, like if Sheffield United do slip up this game, then they got Man City. Man City are probably going to give them a good hiding, give them a bit of reality check.
So.
And then that could, you know what I mean, affect them. And then that's what people will be talking about, Luton, Middlesbrough, like who's going to catch them. Middlesbrough ain't catching us. Right? That game could potentially be a draw, but it's going to be a massive gauge to see. But it all depends. There's a lot that hinges on that Bristol City. So, Agent Cornick, do your best, mate.
No, absolutely.
Naismith as well. Naismith, actually.
Well, he's actually back now, isn't he, Naismith? That I've seen anyway. But yeah, no, we'll see. We'll see what goes on. We'll see. I'll definitely be keeping my eye on them games tonight. Obviously, this is my only load of content today. Like I say, back again with a watch long tomorrow. So yeah, thanks for coming on, Dad. Again, Dad, big up yourself for that. Big up everyone in the chat. We're currently on 11 likes. Don't forget to smash the like button if you haven't already. As for subscribers, I did see we gained 2 since the stream yesterday. So I think that's from Championship Predictions. So big up to yourselves for that. Hit a new milestone in that. And yeah, Turn on notification bell. If you want to follow me across any of my socials, obviously link to them are in the description. Subscribe to my other channel as well, T-Boys TV Extra. My dad will see you on Sunday. I will see you lot tomorrow for a watch long. Take care and peace.